welcome back to Manhwa Destiny. We will now continue with the third part of this series. Without further ado, let's continue the story. Benny leads our two main characters to his ship, and as they stroll, they notice the absence of other boats at the docks. However, upon reaching the end of the docks, Benny unveils the ship they'll be sailing on. To their surprise, it's a regular-sized ship in pristine condition, astonishing them both. While Chen is filled with excitement, Carnelian is taken aback by his unwavering optimism, which turns out to be justified. Benny informs them that if the winds are favorable, the journey to Bellisima should take around 3 days, inviting them to come aboard. Once on the ship, Benny introduces them to his crewmates, initially appearing intimidating. It's premature to jump to conclusions about their involvement in illegal activities. Benny guides them to their respective rooms, explaining that they can't share due to gender segregation to accommodate more passengers. Both Chen and Carnelian feel embarrassed by Benny's assumption about their relationship. Benny playfully teases them about being a great couple, urging them not to be shy. Carnelian, feeling awkward, jokingly reaches for her sword, while Chen tries to clarify their relationship. Benny then shows them to their rooms, with the women's room on the upper floor and the men's room below. As they make their way to their room, Carnelian maintains her suspicion of Benny. Upon stepping into Chen's room, he's taken aback to find a group of men looking worse for wear. Suddenly, the door slams shut with force, startling Chen. Attempting to open it, he realizes it's locked from outside. One of the men explains to Chen that the door won't budge until the ship sets sail. Perplexed, Chen inquires why, leaving the man surprised that Chen boarded without understanding the ship's true nature. The man discloses that the ship operates off the grid, and even if someone were to vanish on board, it would go unnoticed. Chen is deeply shocked by this revelation, his mind racing with concerns about human trafficking and Carnelian's safety. In a panic, Chen demands the door to be opened, pounding on it. The man urges him to cease the commotion and stay quiet. Resolute to rescue the ship, Chen spots a wooden chest, seizes it, and uses it to break the door handle, successfully unlocking it. Chen rushes to locate Carnelian, hastening to the women's room. Inside, he finds numerous women, but Carnelian is conspicuously absent. Hearing a commotion from the upper deck, Chen's concern shifts from Carnelian's safety to the potential destruction she could wreak, akin to her ability to dismantle a castle effortlessly. Chen dashes to the top deck, realizing the gravity of the situation. Without the ship, their journey to Bellisima is futile. Upon reaching the deck, he discovers Carnelian surrounded by unconscious crew members, a sight that catches him off guard. Carnelian questions if he's come to rescue her, but Chen's immediate plea is for her to desist. With a sigh, Carnelian confesses she had been onto the crew's suspicious activities from the start, attempting to gather intel by spying. It becomes apparent the crew are involved in illicit activities, potentially trafficking humans. Suddenly, Benny regains consciousness, overhearing their assumptions. Carnelian accuses them of trafficking, to which Benny vehemently denies, urging them to listen to the truth. All the passengers gather around, eager to uncover the truth behind the tumult. Carnelian anticipates gratitude for their intervention but is met with fury instead, as the passengers are outraged by her incapacitation of the crew. She's taken aback by their response. As the dust settles and dusk approaches, Benny elaborates on their predicament, explaining the arduous border crossing into Bellisima for those lacking wealth or status. He had extended his help under the guise of smuggling them. With hindsight, they realize their hasty judgment and misunderstandings. Carnelian feels a pang of embarrassment and remorse for her impulsive actions. Benny smiles warmly, accepting their apologies and attributing some blame to himself for failing to clarify earlier. Curious about their backgrounds, Benny inquires about their identities. Sharing a puzzled glance, Carnelian reveals herself as a seal, with Chen being a knight in training. She elucidates their purpose in Bellisima, stunning Benny as seals and knights are regarded as nobility. Pointing to Chen, she jests about his appearance, asserting his strength as a seal type. Benny enlightens them about separate ships designated for knights and seals, even one for dueling, offering knights exclusive accommodations and meals. The revelation leaves them astounded, unaware of such opportunities. In good spirits, Benny teases them about their current ship's lack of amenities, to which they playfully agree, jesting about its appearance. However, Benny shifts to a more serious tone, reminding them of the disturbance caused on his ship and the need for recompense. Chen admits their payment covered their expenses. Benny suggests alternate forms of repayment if they lack funds. Meanwhile, in Zelbender City, within the Obermergau Tower, a royal figure sits on the Juliet balcony, remarking on the pleasant weather to her maid, Michelle, who happens to be a seal. The maid, addressing him as Sir Offenbach, informs him of Garing's awakening. The royal figure expresses surprise at her revival and inquires about the one who roused her. Michelle, uncertain of the tamer's identity, senses Garang's presence. Sir Offenbach responds with melancholy at her return. Descending, the prince or noble instructs Michelle to locate Garang and bring her to him as he makes his way back to the castle. His name is revealed as Hermann Offenbach, the first emperor of the Okalant Empire. Returning to the ship, festivities are in full swing, with Cordelia serving food to the sailors as a gesture of apology. She attends to each sailor, urging them to pace themselves since the food isn't going anywhere. Amidst the bustle, Chen's culinary skills come to the fore. As the sole chef from their village, he prepares the meal with finesse, expertly cooking, frying, and stirring, demonstrating his proficiency in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Carnelian, fatigued from her serving duties, takes a seat, remarking on the sailors' hearty appetites. The crew relishes the meal, enjoying the camaraderie. Benny remarks to Carnelian on the long absence of such delectable fare. He expresses amazement at a knight's culinary prowess, which irks Carnelian. She begrudgingly agrees, conceding that cooking is Chen's sole forte. Carnelian, questioning if the meal sufficed as repayment, receives a teasing response from Benny, who jests that it falls short. Carnelian's anger flares momentarily, but Benny quickly reassures her, stating the meal was more than adequate. They all eagerly anticipate some playtime. The night unfolds with everyone content and satiated, reveling in each other's company. Carnelian engages in arm wrestling matches with Chen, Benny, the children, and the crew. Laughter fills the air as they dance and bond, feeling akin to a harmonious family. Upon their arrival in Bellisima after the lengthy journey from Sloke, Chen finds himself reminiscing about his past and feeling homesick for his village in Kyone. Memories flood his mind, recalling the winter festival in Kyone where he discovered Carnelian asleep inside a fester fish, forging a pact for her to become one of his seals upon her awakening. Chen reflects on the day he attempted to present Carnelian to the prince, inadvertently triggering a calamity that resulted in her unintentional killing of 2 seals. He recalls his futile endeavor to apologize to the king personally, culminating in a trap that led to the ruin of his castle and his futile demise. Amidst the rubble of his shattered life, Carnelian confronted Sion for betraying him as a sacrifice to Kyone, though Chen intervened to prevent her from exacting revenge. Chen revisits the trials of that fateful day, now finding himself traversing the world. Lost in contemplation of his past, Benny approaches, questioning his solitude. Chen confides in Benny, expressing his thoughts on his hometown and the overwhelming vastness of the world compared to his humble origins. Benny empathizes, acknowledging the expansive nature of the world and offering to impart his wisdom gleaned from his travels. Benny grabs a map and gestures for Chen's attention, illustrating their journey from Sloke to Bellisima. Chen listens attentively as Benny explains that once they cross the ocean to Bellisima, they'll arrive in a city of the Risenberg Kingdom, nestled within the expansive Hesfarkan Empire. Benny delineates the 3 distinct empires, Garbat, Hesfarkan, and Dalakant, each with its own territories, languages, and populace. Chen marvels at the vastness of the world and the breadth of knowledge he's acquiring about the continent. Benny shares his dream of traversing the even larger continent beyond the ocean they've crossed, aiming to assist those in need of reaching their desired destinations. Chen admires Benny's altruism and warm-hearted nature. Upon their arrival in Bellisima, they bid farewell to the sailors and Benny. Chen waves exuberantly while Carnelian smiles, placing her full trust in their newfound friend. Benny reciprocates the wave, expressing his desire to meet them again in the future. In Bellisima, Chen is thrilled to immerse himself in the vibrant city ambience for the first time. He remarks to Carnelian about the warmer weather compared to his native village of Kyone, or Sloke, energized by the bustling throngs and towering edifices. Carnelian, slightly embarrassed by Chen's exuberance, gently reminds him that they're in the Hesfarkan Imperial City, an unmistakably bustling metropolis. She jests with him to curb his excitement, albeit fondly acknowledging his rural origins. Carnelian excitedly shares with Chen the perks of being a knight in the city, such as complimentary accommodations and meals at the inn, as Benny had informed her. However, Chen seems distracted, his attention captured by a particular creature. Disheartened by Chen's apparent disregard, Carnelian explains that the creature he's fixated on is an orc. She elaborates on the diverse array of species inhabiting the world, recounting how many, including elves and trolls, were once wild but became domesticated through interactions with humans. Some, tragically, were even enslaved in the past. Chen observes the orc in silence, empathizing with the sorrowful history of species subjected to enslavement. Abruptly, the ground trembles, and cries announce the arrival of Sir Kudrao. A man atop a colossal elephant makes a grand entrance, causing further ground vibrations as onlookers bow in reverence. Introduced as Kudrao, Bellisima's esteemed great merchant. He exudes wealth and power, bedecked in lavish jewelry. Tensions escalate when Chen inadvertently obstructs Kudrao's path. Enraged, Kudrao chastises Chen for failing to accord him royal treatment, disparagingly dubbing him dumber than an orc. Chen is stunned and anxious as Kudrao's fury intensifies. Commanding his elephant to intimidate Chen, Kudrao menacingly threatens him for his perceived insolence. As the elephant prepares to unleash its deadly stomp, Chen's cry for help rings out. Hearing his distress, Carnelian springs into action, racing to his aid. With astonishing strength, Carnelian halts the elephant's descent, averting any harm to Chen or the town. Both the elephant and Kudrao are dumbfounded by Carnelian's prowess. Kudrao recognizes the formidable might of the seal, taken aback by her display. With a confident smile, Carnelian stands poised to defend her master. Her massive sword emanates a radiant glow as she prepares for battle. Though relieved by her intervention, Chen endeavors to dissuade her from attacking the elephant, wary of escalating the situation unnecessarily. Despite his protest, Carnelian skillfully leaps onto the elephant's head, swiftly dispatching it with a devastating strike reminiscent of her previous confrontation. The scene turns grim as the noble creature succumbs to Carnelian's blade, collapsing with Kudrao atop it. It's a harrowing sight as the once majestic elephant's body falls apart, an undeserved fate. Horrified by the demise of his loyal companion, Kudrao recoils in terror. Carnelian glares down at him, appalled by the audacity of a mere merchant interfering with a knight. However, Chen's perpetual denseness persists as he adamantly denies being a knight. Nervous about Chen's obliviousness, Carnelian urges him to stay silent. Terrified at the revelation of facing a knight, Kudrao suggests the knight's actions might be a ruse to incriminate him. Carnelian levels her sword at the trembling merchant, issuing a menacing threat for his foolish outburst. Chen, caught off guard by the unforeseen turn of events, sinks into despondency as their journey takes a dark and unexpected twist. Chen couldn't help but notice Carnelian's apparent enjoyment, observing the smugness in her arrogant smile. Addressing the trembling merchant, Carnelian contrasted herself with the alleged knight, proclaiming her generosity, and hinting at potential clemency if he begged for forgiveness on bended knee. The merchant eyed them nervously. However, the merchant's arrogance persisted as he insolently rebuffed their offer. Carnelian rebuked him for his folly and lack of decorum. Fearing for his safety, the merchant accused them of cowardice for attacking him when he was defenseless. Chen attempted to intervene, but Carnelian paid him no heed. With a menacing gaze, she silenced the merchant, inquiring how he preferred to meet his end. The merchant fell silent, contemplating his options. He then turned his attention to Chen, challenging him to a duel. Perplexed, Chen questioned the merchant's motive, prompting him to assert that seals acted solely on their master's commands. Chen attempted to reason with Carnelian, sensing a misunderstanding, but she merely sighed in response. Sheathed her sword, Carnelian turned to Chen, urging him to issue a command. With a chilling calmness, she inquired if she had permission to deliver a vertical cut to the merchant, mirroring the fate of his unfortunate pet. The merchant hastily informed them that in 3 days, he would arrange a venue for the duel before making a swift departure, cautioning them not to entertain any notions of escape. Carnelian chuckled at the merchant's hasty retreat, finding humor in his fear while Chen's nerves were on edge, apprehensive about the impending confrontation. Startled, Chen exclaimed in disbelief, questioning why Carnelian had provoked the merchant in such a manner. Calming him, Carnelian reassured Chen that there was no cause for concern, as the duel was between the seals, not them. Despite her reassurance, Chen remained uneasy, noting that the merchant seemed to have directed his challenge towards him. Carnelian continued to laugh, clarifying that the duel was a matter between the masters of the seals. Suggesting they seek refuge at an inn to freshen up, Carnelian pointed out their soiled attire. However, Chen expressed their financial predicament, seemingly oblivious to Carnelian's earlier statement about their status as esteemed knights on her team. Meanwhile, at the Ikates and Li Dietrich Inn, Ikates detected the presence of the seal they had discussed previously, sensing they were in close proximity. Pausing from his reading, Li inquired about the seal with the troubled past. Confirming it was indeed the same seal, Ikates revealed the extraordinary power required to awaken her. He speculated that it may have been a knight of the highest caliber from an empire, though he acknowledged the possibility of error. Intrigued by this revelation, Li expressed seriousness about the arrival of such a formidable knight just ahead of the royal duel. She urged Ikates to locate them, and without hesitation, he agreed, immediately setting his plans into motion. Night descended upon the city, and at last, our two heroes stumbled upon an inn. Whispers and murmurs circulated about the duo, recounting the encounter with the fearsome wandering knight who nearly met his demise at Kudrao's hands. The innkeeper, visibly tense at their arrival, greeted them with due respect, hopeful for their comfort during their stay. True to form, Chen attempted to clarify that he wasn't a knight, but Carnelian swiftly intervened, nudging him in the stomach and feigning concern for his supposed wound. She explained to the innkeeper that her master was in a sour mood after an encounter with someone ignorant of a knight's code of honor. The innkeeper, honored to host such a righteous knight, ushered them to their finest accommodations. Inside their room, they found fresh attire and a prepared bath, along with wishes for a restful night. Observing Chen's hesitance to unpack, Carnelian quipped about their shared accommodations, causing him embarrassment. With a laugh, Carnelian reassured him, recalling their shared quarters on the ship and teasing him for his supposedly dirty mind. Chen felt uncomfortable in her company and asked why she was laughing. Carnelian playfully called him dumb and asked if he really thought the seal would have a different room. When asked about it, and she explained that for a knight, a seal was no different from a sword or a shield. Why would anyone get a separate room for a sword? Carnelian looked around and teased him, calling him very naive, which made Chen feel a little embarrassed. Chen patiently waited, eating apples while Carnelian finished her bath. When she came out of the bathroom, she looked refreshed and relaxed. Carnelian was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt, which made Chen feel shy about how she dressed. Curious, Chen asked about the clothes they gave her, blushing at her beauty. She replied that she tailored the clothes to her own taste and wouldn't wear those outdated outfits. She supposes he can say that, but she tells him she was a bit ahead of her time. Was she transferred to this world, or did she come from the future? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Carnelian elaborated on the benefits of being a knight, free room, food, and clothes. But Chen remained silent, feeling bashful about her appearance. Blushing, Chen muttered that perhaps it was for the best that he wasn't a genuine knight, fearing constant exposure. Carnelian reassured him, asserting that no one would dare suspect the notorious wandering knight. She recounted the innkeeper's trembling reaction, though Chen failed to find it amusing. Abruptly, Carnelian detected a formidable presence approaching, prompting Chen to inquire. Confirming the arrival of someone powerful, Carnelian prepared for their visitor. A voice interrupted from the doorway, apologizing for the intrusion and inquiring about the presence of the knight. The voice identified itself as Dame Knight Lee Dietrich, seeking an audience. Recognizing the Dietrich family's esteemed lineage of knights, Carnelian pondered whether to admit them, though she detected no hostile intent. Introducing herself as Risenberg's royal knight, Lee Dietrich requested to meet the legendary knight of the rumors. Awkwardly, Chen extended a greeting and invited them inside, to which Lee graciously accepted. Nervous about Chen's comportment potentially revealing their true identities, Carnelian decided to alter her approach. She introduced Chen as a wandering knight unaffiliated with any nation, appealing for understanding regarding his desire to keep his lineage concealed. Lee's suspicion heightened as she contemplated Chen's reluctance to reveal his name, pondering what other secrets he might be harboring. However, their attention was diverted by a captivating firework display. A girl named Karina, accompanied by her seal, enthusiastically pointed out the festival, delighting in the spectacle of the fireworks. Karina's master, Zealot Vinkristine, a renowned and once exalted knight, smiled warmly, encouraging them to savor the present moment, hinting that even more thrilling experiences lay ahead. And with that, I conclude this part 3 of this amazing manhwa. Now what will happen next? How did friendship help Chen and Carnelian overcome obstacles? How did Chen and Carnelian grow as individuals throughout their journey? Tune in next time for another part of this series, and as always, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting our channel. As always, it's our destiny to discover new manhwa.